Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. So someone put together a Dream Realm basically lineup using the shadow images we have on the Pioneer server, and I pretty much fully agree with this. These are going to be the bosses we're going to be having in Season 6 Tower of Memory, which is always going to be interesting news because depending on the boss mechanics, it could make certain heroes more meta for Dream Realm than otherwise, and also we know which are going to be the returning bosses, which I was really surprised to hear about actually. So let's go ahead. At the beginning, it is King Croaker. He is making a comeback 2 seasons in a row, and in King Croaker, it has been like, a meta of Thorin or Saida taking those insta-kills. However, one interesting idea is Aurora, because Aurora summons her unicorn, Sunny, who potentially can be repeatedly taking the insta-kills, and if that can somehow work in King Croaker, I could even imagine that Aurora could have some usage there, but I don't know exactly how it is going to work, and if any other hero is targeted by the insta-kill rather than the unicorn, that would be very problematic, right? Okay, the next boss is Sarethiel. We just saw that, and I made a video. You guys can check it out. Currently, the top meta for Sarethiel is very unique. It is using Shadewing, and it is using Corden. Corden was kind of expected to be good for pre-endless Dream Realm, but Shadewing not really. And honestly, it probably is due to the unique mechanics of this boss that basically 45 seconds into the match, he causes such massive HP loss on your team that your team is going to be wiped out within seconds. And so it's a really short fight duration. You're not able to get the full value of a Valara or anything like that, and that is why heroes like Valara or maybe even Solis, who have that, the buffing value eventually later on in the fight, it's not going to be useful because it's just you're not going to have a full 90-second match. It's like a 45-second match. So yeah, that is unique. But he is right now. It is Shadewing. It is Corden. Yeah, meta currently. Okay, next up is Gloommaw, and yeah, this is almost definitely Gloommaw. You can tell by this branch to the side that is completely lining up with Gloommaw. He was a Primal Lord, the second Primal Lord of the previous season, and in that you needed to have shielders. If you didn't have shielders, he would actually insta-kill your allies, and so basically you needed to have a form of shielding, whether it be your allies providing the shielding or the hero self-shielding. And so heroes which were good there were Daemon, Baelran, Shamira, Twins who even provide some shielding, and so probably the meta is going to be a Shamira, Daemon, Twins type meta early on for pre-endless. That's what I would be predicting. There's just one thing I'm interested in, and Valara also is pretty good because she provides shielding with her magic circles. But one thing I'm interested about is Solis, because Solis, when we reviewed her skill kit, if you guys can check out that video as well. But Solis has a potential up to 46% basically attack buff to all allies once she provides enough healing to them. Basically, the bulb sprites level up and they provide a greater attack buff. And then also, when enough healing is provided, then she will begin periodically shielding your team. Now the question is, can that shielding be useful for this Gloommaw? Could it be fast enough to get to that shielding point where you could shield your whole team and basically help you here? I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see about that, but it's just an interesting angle I was thinking about. And then we have Doomscourge. So Doomscourge was the third Primal Lord of the previous season, and it was a Primal Lord which was meant to make summoners meta. But honestly, summoners were so weak that still it was better to just run a Shamira comp and let your team die. Let your other teammates die, because basically the Doomscourge will periodically devour your own allies, and eventually all that will be left is like 1 or 2 heroes in the end. But we found that the best comp was just running Shamira and letting the rest of the team die, and it was really good. Now, I don't know, because we have Aurora now, and Aurora definitely is trying to bring a summoner meta with all of her summoner buffs that she has, and also her own unicorn. I'm thinking that Aurora's best chance for meta in Dream Realm will be the Doomscourge Dream Realm boss, and I'm really excited to see what the meta is going to look like for Doomscourge, because that is the one which is the most out there boss, honestly, and it has, the greatest potential of Aurora or summoners being meta. And if there are multiple summoners, I would say maybe Aurora and Floribel. Those are probably the 2 best summoners in the game that could potentially be used. I probably wouldn't think more than that would be used, like more summoners, but we'll have to see. Or it could just be a Shamira, comp, and you just have heroes which die over time, like whether it be Hypogean, whether it be Sonya, whatever, you know, you don't really care if those heroes die. They provide their buff value, and now it's fine for them to go. Or even Rainier, like, you know. So we'll have to see about that. Definitely that is interesting. I can't wait for that. Dream on boss, most importantly. Now the other 4 bosses are all bosses we had this season, so we pretty much know what the meta is going to look like. However, of course, now that there are no new heroes out there, it could potentially change the meta from what it was in season 5. So Blightshroom is a Dream Realm boss, which obviously it will prevent you from casting ultimates, and only one hero per fight is able to cast an ultimate only one time. Now, people are thinking maybe there's even potential for Aurora in Blightshroom, because Aurora, right from the beginning of the battle, she has a passive effect. She will immediately go to sleep, and she's going to summon the unicorn. Then she doesn't need to cast her ultimate ever after that. And so, you know, if the damage is high enough, especially in pre-endless, I could see Aurora actually just as a damage dealer in some utility for the Blightshroom boss. So that's interesting. But apart from that, it's probably going to be the usual suspects like Valka and like Mikola maybe, and things like that. And for Endless, we already kind of knew what the meta is. It's a Baelran meta. Nocturne Judicator. So Nocturne Judicator, we saw that Corden is very good in Nocturne Judicator. And I think probably, even for pre-Endless Dream Realm, he's probably going to be meta. So like, because we're getting a return of Nocturne Judicator, and we saw how good Corden is, even in Endless for Nocturne Judicator, it's very likely in pre-Endless he's also going to be a beast and going to amplify the damage of the Midnight Hunter by so much that probably it's going to be a Corden Shakir type comp for even pre-Endless, meaning that Corden has become already somewhat of a priority. He is best in Sarethiel so far. We're going to see on the VN server and Pioneer server, is he going to be best in Nocturne Judicator pre-Endless? Is he best in any one of these other bosses? I don't know about that. And I think the problem is for Blightshroom, he's not going to be good because he needs to keep casting ultimate to get the hunting circle active again. It's going to expire after 16 seconds, and he's not going to be able to do that. So for Blightshroom and also King Croaker, we have already seen he's not good. For Sarethiel, he is good. Now, these 2 bosses remaining, Nocturne Judicator probably going to be good, and then we have to see about Magmazard. Probably Necrodrakon not good. Most likely not good because it's going to again be the energy denial, right? Okay, Magmazard, we know about the meta for Magmazard, but potentially, so this actually could have some meta usage. The reason is Magmazard, if you guys remember, especially for pre-endless bosses, is that he would deal a lot of damage, and you need a lot of healing to basically counteract his damage output. And so maybe for some points, Solis with her healing, because she has a lot of healing, and she has attack buff potential, she may be a better choice than Valara at some levels when you're actually dying or something. So I could definitely see Solis maybe early on for Magmazard, but later on, I don't really, probably not needed. Valara would probably still be best. And Necrodrakon is like, I don't know why Necrodrakon is back. Like, we've had Necrodrakon for 2 or 3 seasons in like the earlier seasons, like Starter Story, and then from Global Launch we're talking about, and then the first few seasons, and now we're having Necrodrakon back again for another 2, like last season, now this season. But Necrodrakon is a boss where Harok has his best chance, and like I really feel like they're just keeping Necrodrakon here so that Harok has something. But even we saw like Harok was even getting beaten out in the top Necrodrakon teams with Aliceth and things like that. And so if you want to think about Aliceth as a hero, because some people are thinking should they invest in Aliceth? Aliceth is best in King Croaker, or for Endless for this season, and she was best in Magmazard and also even in Necrodrakon, right? Which is crazy. So like already 3 bosses probably going to be best for her, and she's also best in Blightshroom currently. However, that could change with the new heroes being released and things like that. For these other bosses, I don't really know. I honestly don't know, because Baelran, probably with his self-shielding, is more suited for Gloommaw compared to Aliceth, who doesn't have shielding, and this Doomscourge, I have no idea what to expect there. So, I don't know, it could be somewhat of an Aliceth season. However, at the same time, I would be a little bit on the fence, and also with the new Hypogean support coming almost definitely as the, like, you know, the phase 2 of season 6 hero, I would really be saving for that, because that probably is going to shake up the meta. Supports are always really meta in AFK Journey, especially the Celestial Hypogeans. So I would probably, right now, if you haven't already built Aliceth, I would say now you should save, because I don't know what the future is going to hold for Aliceth, and the Hypogean support could be far more meta, depending on the skills, of course. But that's basically it. Hopefully this video is helpful. Let me know your thoughts about all these Dream On bosses in the comment section down below. Which ones are you the most excited for? Do you have any other strategies you're thinking for them? Let me know. But thank you guys all so much for watching. That's going to be it for this video. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video and a pinned comment. And you can actually bookmark this link in your browser. And whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.